Coach, something you said just a moment ago before we started the interview, when you get to this portion of semi-state and you're looking forward to perhaps moving on to the state tournament, you just said that you can't make a mistake right now. And talk a little bit about how you convey that to the two wrestlers you have that are left in this semi-state to really make sure they're very focused at this point in the tournament.
You know, the good thing about being down to just two kids, practice is extremely individualized. Really work and focus on both kids, what they do well, and knowing, you know, who their matchups are and what they need to do better or need to work on to put themselves in the opportunity to win the matches. You know, we got Austin's going in as the 1 seed, has one of the best runner-ups in the semi-state for his tick-around match, and Plunkett, you know, he's going into the 4, so he has to wrestle champ first round. And it's a kid he wrestled last year at semi-state. So, you know, we know a little bit about the kids and, you know, talk about the things they have to do and really focus on what they have to do to win the matches. And, you know, like we talked about, really have to minimize mistakes. You know, Braden, like I said, is a 4 seed going into his quarter of the bracket against the champ first round. But he's good as anybody else as long as he believes and is confident in what he does and what he's able to do, and doesn't make mistakes. He's been in some matches against some of the best in the state. Lost most of them, but a lot of them were close, and it come down to, you know, one mistake on bottom where he gave up some back points. And you know, Austin, I don't think is wrestling at his best right now, but he's got his goals. He knows what he has to do to win each match. He goes and gets his takedown and just kind of controls the match. You know, I'd like to see a little more offense and firepower and trying to put more points on the board, but, you know, he's not going to make a lot of mistakes, and somebody's going to have to really catch him to knock him off. But he's doing what it does to, you know, what he needs to do to control the matches and stay in position to get the wins. So both kids have a great chance, and at this point in the year, there's 16 kids at each semi-state at each weight, and, you know, the kid that is on fire at this point in time is the one that's going to come out on top.
Are your two wrestlers about as close to being as ready for this level? I know ALSTON certainly is. Talk a little bit about his preparation, and then Plunkett as well. He's been here before, as you said. Are they feeling at least confident at this point?
Yeah, I think, you know, both kids know what their capability is. Like I said, we know a little bit about their matchups and who they have, and I think they both feel comfortable with their preparation and what we're doing in the room. And, you know, my job as a coach at this point is just to make them uncomfortable, you know, push them to their edge and let them find that wall to climb over each day, so that it doesn't happen in a match. And I think they're both comfortable with where they're at, and confident in the abilities and the skills they have. You know, it's just a matter of going out and executing. You know, we got another, you know, practice tonight and practice tomorrow. Tomorrow will be more of a kind of a walkthrough for wrestling, just go through all positions. But, you know, we're closing in on that day, and critical day in the state of Indiana for wrestling is semi-state. That second round at semi-state, as we talked about, there's no wrestlebacks, so some of the best kids may wrestle. I know there's, like I said, in our semi-state at 160, number 3 and number 4 in the state wrestle. One of those kids aren't going. They're both legitimate state qualifiers, state place winners. One of them's not going to make it. So just got to go out and get hot, eliminate mistakes, and be ready.
You, from your standpoint, being here as many times as you have been, and the two wrestlers that have been there before, is there any more pressure on them, or is their experience something that they'll certainly be able to look back on and use this coming weekend?
You know, Braden, you know, he's only a sophomore. At the same weight, was a semi-state guy last year. He's still kind of an unknown around the state, so he's one of those kids that can go in and knock somebody off and get himself known a little bit. Not a lot of pressure on him because he's not the guy supposed to win the match and get the ticket to state. But Austin, you know, last year he come in. Some people knew him, people around the area that we trained with and traveled the country as a youth with a little bit, and knew who he was and knew his abilities. But a lot of the state was still kind of not real sure. Now he's ranked number 2 in the state. He's been there all year. A lot of people, you know, Indiana Matt did an article on him. A Wrestling Wednesday, they do a Monday and a Wednesday online article every week, and a month or so ago they did one on him. So people know kind of what his go-to stuff is, and we go out against the better wrestlers, you see him try to shut things down. But he's pretty diversified, has a lot of technique and good a lot of areas. But I don't think he feels pressure.
Yeah.
His goal was, he tells me, Dad, Coach Bane, hey, I'm not losing more than 10 high school matches. Right now he's at 126-10. So his goal every day is to go out and not lose, because he doesn't want to lose any more matches in high school career. And like we talked about, he knows what he needs to do to win each match, and is good at positions. And when it comes to, I obviously as the dad, I've been around him forever, seen every match he's ever wrestled. I can't remember him losing more than maybe 2 overtime matches in his career from the time he was 7 up. So if it goes the distance and goes to overtime, he's got a huge gas tank, and he loves to win, and he's going to do what it takes to win.
How hard is it for you to separate the dad and the head coach? I mean, you've been doing this a long time, so I guess you have plenty of experience in that, but do the emotions kind of run across each other, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, actually Coach Carr, who helps, my assistant, he's helped tremendously this year. Football's helped Alston and I, because I'm not fully in charge, but I can give him pointers, and we talk about things, and I don't coach his position. So that's helped us kind of separate father-coach type thing. And, he calls me Coach Bane at practice. Sometimes out in the community, around people, he'll call me Coach Bane.
Yeah.
But, we've done a pretty good job separating, I think. And like I said, Coach Carr has done a tremendous job kind of helping when we get a little intense. After it usually takes place after a match, something where I think, hey, you have this, and he'll question a little bit or say, I won, I did this. And Coach Carr has done a great job kind of helping, bridge us together a little bit there, and let him understand, he's just trying to help you get better and show you things to improve. And I know what he's been through, being there every step of the way. I know his potential, and I don't let him rest. I mean, we're never going to take a break and let off the gas pedal. And he's got his goals, and he's got his mindset and what he wants to do as well. So that helps. I don't have to motivate him. He's just like Nate last year. Great young men, good students, good character, good athletes, and they push themselves. So just occasionally got some little thing to remind them about. I think it's tough. It's tough to be dad and coach, but hopefully in a year I get to go be dad and watch him and maybe coach other people's kids. So it's been a pretty good experience.
My final thing for you, and again with Alston, the knee, how is his knee right now? In fact, I saw him, I don't know how long it was, where he had a knee brace on. Is he okay, and is that bothering him whatsoever?
No, he's pretty healthy. We've done some other preventive maintenance things this season, and some things that have helped his flexibility, and he's feeling pretty good. He wears knee sleeves and knee pads on both knees, just kind of preventive. Nothing injured, nothing hurt. I mean, he's feeling pretty good about himself, and body's good. Same thing with Braden. I think they're both, at this point in the season, after wrestling 45, 50 matches and practicing 6 days a week, I think they're both pretty healthy and feeling pretty good, and the bodies are good. Weights are fine, so they're not, not starving themselves like you hear about wrestlers a lot of time. They've managed and kept it right so they can eat and take in water and feel good about the energy they have. And I think both of them are about as ready to go as anybody can expect.